Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you guys are joined in. Today, I'm going to do maybe 2 or 3 parts of vehicles in the road. That's car, trucks, semi trucks, bus, trains. So, the first part I'm going to try to cover is the cars mainly. That's the most prominent thing. And then also the second part, or maybe the third part, is going to be motorbikes and cycle. So, if I'm guessing you already watched the drawing, how to draw cars. I think that one is very important to have a little bit of understanding of what needs to be done. So for the exercise, I usually use a standard 6B pencil, but for cars, maybe I'll use a 0.7 pencil. And I have a set of standard synthetic brush. These are Jackson synthetic brush. On my right, I have a little bit of water and also John Pike watercolor painting. So the colors what I use is not important as long as you understand a tone. Maybe I'll do another video on the tones itself. So let's jump right in. So I'm assuming you have some practice of drawing cars, and the cars are usually going to be very simple. So the top section, this is a car from the front, and think about another rectangle and the tires. So I'll add a little more details, but you get. Okay, so there's a bonnet. So the image what I'm using as a reference, this has a lot more images, but I just want to give you, there's a lot more details you could add. On this logo, don't worry about too much about the detail. These are simple sketches, and maybe there's a shaft or other things, I don't know. And then I'll put an antenna. The same thing if I want to draw the back. There's the mirror. I'd say there's some sort of design element. I don't know what car this is, to be honest, but I'm just doing it as a. And don't forget the brake light, and maybe there's a couple of fog lights. Let's add a couple of fog lights. And if you want to add a little more detail, you won't see it, but just there's 3 seat rests in the back. I should do it. That would just give you a standard front and the back. The front and back of anything, to be honest, is very simple. If you want to do a side, let me do a few just so that you get some sort of an idea. So let's do one where you can see the top. Let me clean it so that you know. So this one's going to be a small hatchback. That would be the orange car in the top image. So that's what you can see on the top. I will add a little more details. And the tire. What do you call a 2-seater? Let's do this as a 1-seater. Maybe an exhaust, and I see a wraparound tail light and a bumper. bonnet. Okay, so that would be a small hatchback, and let's do all the pickup trucks. So always you start with a box. I'm obviously exaggerating a little bit. Let's say that's the top of the pickup truck. That's the front. And that's back. So having an understanding of drawing is important. I think it's a Ford F50. I'm not. I'm from UK, so forgive me. We don't have a big culture of pickup trucks, to be honest. And a bonnet. Oh, sorry, a bumper. So that will be one tire, and that will be another hubcap. A mirror cap. And a flatbed. That's fine. Why not? Let's add a sunroof. That's an angle. All right. Another popular thing we were always looking for is cars stacked one behind the other. So let's say that's the first car in the traffic. That's the second car in the traffic. I will probably do one more car, and then that gives you an idea how to stack up cars. For a cityscape, I think just knowing how to stack cars will go a long way. I'm not doing any particular design, I'm just using a couple of references. That would be the first car, second car, and the third car. Oh, there's an antenna. 3 cars. And what else? Let's pick some odd things like a tuk-tuk, or just want to give you an idea. It doesn't matter which angle it is. It's always so. So maybe you see a little bit, and the front bit. At the driver's seat. something like that. And what else do we need for drawing a car? Let's do another pickup truck or another car in a different, maybe that particular direction. I'll just pick one from maybe from a side, maybe a 3/4. I've got space for 2 more cars to fill in. The saloon. Placing the tire, having a square, which it's easy to draw a square. Radiator. Lights. Why don't we? The heck of adding. I'm gonna make it look like a spoiler and a light, and probably not a spoiler. Let's just make it okay. So usually the back is a little higher. Okay, so one more over here, and then we can call it a day. So I'm gonna one from the other side. As long as you know the perspective, you can always play around. Doesn't matter which way the car sits in. So even though I'm doing it very rough, there is still perspective. So that's why the cars still look like a car. Okay. Those are some rough sketches of how a car should look like. And as I said, the colors are not particularly important as long as you understand the tones. I will get on to the tones at some stage. And then also another thing I want to mention, all my drawings, if you've been watching, I always do it in 4 stages. Stage 1 is the drawing, light tones, mid tones, and any highlights. Always in 4 layers. Most of my drawings, the way I've learned it. So the drawing is done, so I'm going to do the light tones, mid tones, and the highlights, and that should complete the painting. So I'm using a synthetic brush. I'm just going to give whatever is left out. I generally use a neutral color, like maybe a lavender. This brush is too small. Let's use slightly bigger brush. This already had a little bit of paint, and let's say this car is Algerian red. Why not? So I will try to layer the white part out. You don't have to. Okay. And tires, I come back. Okay, that's the first coat. Don't worry about too much about how it looks at this stage, as long as you've covered the surface. I come back, the same thing, and I'm using Algerian crimson mixed with some gray. Okay, and come back, easy. Same thing. I do change of color. Let's say the car is blue. Blue, blue, blue. And I'll come back. That's it. I'm just repeating the whole process. Let's do purple. Why not? Purple truck. As long as you understand the tones, color shouldn't make a big difference. So he's got the mirror. Let's do a hard rooftop, and also his carrier. And we'll come back and we'll paint the inside. Okay, carrying on. Simple. I'm just doing first layer of color. Let's do the car green. Just for the sake of doing it green. And okay. Oh, I forgot that loop as well. Next one, let's do a car yellow ochre. Why not? Just a little bit of details on the top. Have a piece of tissue. If there's excess liquid, it's handy to control the flow. All right, let's do brown. And windows. Same thing. The rickshaw or the auto tuk-tuk is yellow in color. Okay, there's a little bit of a window. Let it bleed, it's all right. And I'm going to shade a little more. So just the colors. And I'll come back for the tire. That's it. And let's keep moving. There's two more cars. Bluish indigo on the top, and then let's do a gray car. Gray, don't worry about, as long as you're covering all the surface, we'll come back and then complete the car. Gray, gray. Okay, just for fun, let's add red mirrors. Okay, one more car. Doing a slightly greenish tint to the glasses, and then let's do a different shade of blue. Cerulean, and then there was a left dot. So easy peasy, not too much, and just for differentiating again, I'll give a little bit of red mirror, and that's layer 2 complete. That's a low tone. Let's go to medium tone and then high tone. So I'll just use a slightly smaller brush, add a few details here and there. So let's just add a little bit of darker tones for inside. And then always it's important to know where your light source are. So let's say for all those things, I'll add the light source here. This side is this one. Just gives you an idea where to put the shadow. Let's do front, and then let's do that direction. So having an idea of where the shadow should go makes very important decisions how the car is going to look or behave. I'm just diving in a few highlights, and I'll come back into much stronger. Okay. Same thing, just because I have the black pigments in the brush, I'm just starting with a highlight. And okay, have fun. Just a little bit, you're just giving it a little bit of shade, because the shadow is coming from the other side, just making the one side a little darker, and that should be enough. Let me just find a little bit of white and red. Okay, going on to the next one, I'm just picking up dark blue and blackish tone. So just a hint. Okay, that was a bit too much. That's all right. We can always come back and edit it. Okay. So the same thing. I'm using a little bit of black, some suggestions. Some suggestions saying there's something going on. Because keep in mind, these are just sketches. You can't add tons of. Okay. And depending on where the sun is, shadow. Don't forget shadow. And for this one, obviously, the shadow needs to. So rough shadow. And for the next one, I'll use a slightly bigger brush. Shadow on one side. So there's no right way. I'm just adding some details. To the car and go from there. So the radiator, and shadow. Let's say that's plenty, and then I'm gonna connect the shadow to tire to make sure. Okay, easy. Same thing. Before forget, I'm just adding a little more shadow to it, adding a window, a bumper, frame, a little more random details, and let it bleed a little bit. That's it. So the next one, the bonnet. So that's the lights coming from the other side, so a little more dark on the front. There's some mystery going on here. What is just some amount of interest. You want to build that mystery. And a few more details. Okay, all right. And not least, so a little bit of shadow. Doesn't have to be precise, but it's important that you add a little bit of shadow. And the last one, and that's enough. I will let it bleed. And last but not least, picking up pigment. I'm adding red, gives you where the car is. And keep an indicator. There's a bit of red. There's a bit of red. Red, 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 red. And I take a little bit of yellow from the tube, a little bit of yellow light, or I do shot of white. That gives you okay. Bear with me, it's almost complete. A little bit of chrome here and there. That to the highlights are important. This picks up the car. Okay. That would be a completion of this video. How to draw simple watercolor sketches for cityscapes. So the idea is, if you pick up all the basics, then for the cityscape, I would have covered all the elements needed for the cityscapes, and then we can go forward. All right. Thank you for watching. Consider liking the video and hitting the subscribe button. Don't miss the notification so that when there's a next new video, you're ready to go. Till next time, keep watercoloring and then have a good day. Thank you. Bye.